Good afternoon, brothers and sisters in Christ, faithful Mother of God, joy of all who sorrow. S Prazdnikom. I greet you with this wonderful feast of the Ascension. And with a heavy heart, I thought of preparing this video for you to speak about the opening and reopening of our community with the directives that have been given to us by our Archbishop, the Synod of Bishops of the Orthodox Church in America, interim guidance for communities of faith by the CDC, and also what we have worked on as your parish council leadership last evening and the week before to come up with the memo that we are proposing to our Archbishop so that we could gain his approval for the opening when time is ready. As you know, the Governor of New Jersey has not announced when exactly communities of faith will be opening, but we need to prepare for this event. And it's a time that we have to think of the guidance that's given to us and prayerfully think how we will come together as a community where people feel safe and secure, that we don't provide obstacles that prevent people from their relationship to God. This is the important thing. We want people to worship God, and we want people to worship God and have no obstacles that prevent them from doing that. So with that, I want to give you just a general background, and this is in preparation for our town hall meeting that will be on Sunday. And this is the general background, so I'm hoping at the town hall meeting we will not have to go into the details of this video, but in fact to your concerns and questions on the reopening. The Archbishop of New York, our Archbishop Michael, our Archpastor, issued his directives for the reopening of the diocesan churches on May 8th, 2020. That is a plan that I have here that is several pages long and is very detailed and in some things a very directive that we have no choice in complying with. It has a phase system beginning with phase 1, ending with phase 3, and within those phases there are stages, stage 0 to 7. 7 being the full opening. So what we have done is the parish council has looked at these directives, looked at the guidance for the interim guidance for CDC, and we have come up with a memo that is attached to this video that you may read, and then also express any questions or concerns you may have at the town hall meeting. This, again, is in preparation for when we are to open our community worship services. At this point, I don't know if we'll be limited to the number or if we will be able to have a complete opening. So the memo that I prepared for the Archbishop with the Parish Council is a broad perspective on answering the questions and the directives that are within that, the compliance for the directives that are within that document. So first and foremost, this is again our plan. There are 9 questions that have been asked for us to answer. And I'm going to go through these questions one by one. The first is, do the civil directives allow for our reopening? We don't have that at the present time. So again, this is in preparation so that when those directives come, we will be able to have everything in order and we will be able to move forward quickly. The second question concerns the priest's family. Are we a vulnerable population? Are we over the age of 65? Not yet. do we have pre-existing medical conditions, or if any of our family members work directly with those in healthcare who have contact with the coronavirus? The answer is no. Our concern, obviously, you know that Jeannie's mother is living with us. She will be home from church and will not be attending public worship services until the time is appropriate that people of her age will be able to attend services. So we have no obstacles for myself or for my family that will prevent us from reopening the church. The third question has to do with the cleanliness of our church. We have hired, in the beginning of this pandemic, a cleaning service that has come and has fully sterilized the church and has come on a weekly basis to do that, and we will continue with the cleaning service that we have. So we have the church cleaned and prepared for this reopening. The fourth question has to do with how are we going to accommodate the faithful in the church building, meeting the requirements of both the governor of New Jersey and his directives and orders, and also the guidance from the CDC. We basically have within the narthex approximately 1,200 square feet. It's our intention at the present time not to use the loft unless we absolutely have to. I have looked at configuring the chairs that we have, and we currently have 40 chairs in the church, and we will be able to configure those chairs both in rows and columns that are 6 feet apart that meets the requirements of social distancing. So we do have the capacity that we will be able to have up to at least 45 people within the narthex of the church to come and worship if we're allowed those numbers. So I don't think we have a restriction for our membership to attend. As you know, we currently have 31 members who are stewards of the church, and our attendance on Sundays average about 50. Given the fact that we have some people in our population that will, who are in high risk, that will refrain from coming to church during this period of time, I think our capacity will meet our needs if we're allowed to fully open to the capacity that we need. So spacing is not a difficult issue. The fifth question, has the church the necessary equipment for opening the church? That means hand sanitizers, cleaning supplies, personal protection equipment. I have been aggressive in making sure that we have enough of those supplies and have been ordering them throughout these weeks. So currently, it is a requirement that everyone who comes to the corporate worship service will wear a mask. If those who come do not have a mask, we have masks on hand that we will issue to the individual. We have hand sanitizer, and we have sanitizing wipes. So we have everything that we need as required by the guidance of the CDC and the directive of the Archbishop to make sure that we have the proper equipment and the sanitizing means to comply with this question. Now, the question 6 is, does the church have necessary personnel trained to assist in the services? And it says, opening church doors, cleaning services as necessary during the service, assisting at Holy Communion. What we have done with the parish councils, we've gone through exactly areas that we have concerns, and I address them with the following points within the memorandum that's being sent to the Archbishop. First of all, attendance. We've answered that. I will answer that in questions 6 and 7. We will only have the side doors of the church open, and we will leave those open. We will not have the necessity for somebody to wipe the door handles after each person enters. because those doors will be open and nobody will have a need to touch those doors at all. We're using the side doors for two primary reasons. One is that we need to ensure that those who have physical disabilities or limitations have access to the church building. The front doors are not handicapped accessible. The second is that the side doors provide also some protection from the weather, so that if it should rain or if we have a heavy breezy day, that the front doors allow things to come in. We're trying to prevent that. The third issue is also the only restroom that will be open will be that restroom by those side doors, our handicapped restroom. The other restroom will be locked. So there's no need for somebody to be at the door to sanitize. The candles, we are working the issue of how we will distribute candles at the present time. The proposal is that somebody will issue candles wearing a glove, but another proposal is that we lay candles out on the table in that room and that people can individually take how many candles they would like and make the proper donations. We will have a basket for donations for those who are not currently doing their stewardship online, and for those who would like to make a donation for candles or other things, that they would be available there, but we will not be doing public basket passing. All of our books have been removed. There will be no literature available during this time period, and our fellowship currently is postponed indefinitely. We will not have church school or educational classes that will meet in person at the church. We will only do those online. Sorry, that was my cat. You see, we're at home. So based on that, I have requested and made the proposal with the parish council that when the time comes that we are beginning our corporate worship together, we will now move liturgy to 9:30 in the morning. We will begin the Divine Liturgy on Sunday at 9:30 in the morning, not 10 o'clock. We will have ushers that will direct the faithful to the chairs as they come into church, and also to direct them for those who wish to receive the sacrament of the Eucharist. Now, this is important. Because of the social distancing, we would like to prevent people from passing each other as frequently as possible. So you will be directed as you come into church, and I ask you to cooperate with the ushers because they're members of our parish, and they are under these guidelines that we all have to comply with. That first in will be seated in the front. We will seat from the front and back. When we exit the church, we will exit just in the reverse order. Those in the back will exit first, and those in the front will exit last. First in, last out. That's what we're used to in the military when you're with logistics. Logistical people are always first into the battle, and we're always last out because we have to clean up the mess of the soldiers that they left behind. The Eucharist will be distributed, and I know this is an issue. And the Holy Synod of Bishops have met yesterday, and we're waiting their final guidance and guideline on how the Eucharist will be distributed. But at the present time, there is no change in how the Eucharist will be distributed. So we'll be distributing it as we have done in the custom of the Orthodox Church at the present time. There will be no veneration of icons, of crosses, or any other religious item in church. If you would like to offer veneration, a simple bow before the icon and a prayer will be appropriate at the time. At the distribution of the Eucharist, I will wear a mask. Those who are in coming to receive the Eucharist, when they approach the chalice, will remove their mask so that I could give them the Eucharist. I will not have any other altar server or the deacon present with me. I will be the only person present at the chalice, again, to limit how many people have to be in contact and exposure with each other. We will have a table that will have paper towels that will be in a dispensing box. I ask that you take a paper towel before you approach the chalice and use that as the safety mechanism in case anything should spill either from the spoon or from your mouth, and to wipe your mouth. And then there will be a receptacle that you will be able to leave that in, and I will dispose of it at the proper means. The only restroom, as I mentioned, will be the restroom, our handicap restroom, which is by the side entrance to the churches. And we will have sanitizing wipes both outside the bathroom and inside the bathroom, so that you would be able, if you use the restroom, to wipe the areas that you have come into contact with, and to wipe the door handles so that others could be provided this safety of using that process. The church, as I said, will be cleaned by the contracted services. However, I will need volunteers at the end of the service, and I ask the parish council to come up with a list of people who will be able to do this. And this is your service to those in our community, so I ask for you to think of volunteering. Is at the end of the service, I will need people to wipe down all the chairs and all of the public areas that people may have come into contact. The bathroom, the chairs, the table where the candles are, and that we would therefore be able to have that area wiped clean, even though we do have a cleaning service that's coming. The seventh question has to do with, do we have a plan to make sure that all members of the congregation who can come to services have the opportunity to do so? Pending the state order, and pending, again, the amount of people that we are allowed to come, we will, if we're limited, I will have a sign-up list that will be sent out to you, that you will then therefore sign up for a service that you wish to attend. I ask, and I will look at this, and I ask that you allow, if we're limited, for those who wish to attend, that we do a rotation, and we will work a rotation. But we will have a system in place if that's the need be. But I hope that we would not be limited to 10 people, but that we would be open to a larger population. So we will address that need as the order comes out. Again, the question of the distribution of the Holy Eucharist has been answered in the previous questions. The last question deals with the choir. Presently, I have asked Benjamin and for Julie, since they are a family unit, to be the two people that will respond to the liturgy and the responses for the services. They will stand in front of the ambon, facing the iconostas. Those who wish to sing with them, and Benjamin has asked, if you wish to sing, we have the appropriate space to provide social distancing of the choir. There's much that has been publicized about the aerosol effects of singers. And because of this, and because I want to ensure that people feel secure and safe within the worshiping community, we will not have choir members singing from the choir loft. We will have them in front of the church, facing the iconostas. They will wear their masks when they come into church, and they will wear their masks when they leave the church. The directive from the Archbishop at the present time is that the choir does not have to wear masks while they're singing, because that again might compromise their health with the exchange of the oxygen rate that they might have. So basically, this is our plan to go ahead. There are things that I know that you have answers for, questions for. There are things that I don't have answers for. We are a hierarchical church, and we have a archbishop and a synod of bishops of the Orthodox Church in America that have issued directives. These directives are not things that we could argue with, we may disagree with, and we may have concerns with, and you may express those concerns to the Archbishop or myself. However, at the end of the day, when the directives come out and they have been given to us, we have to abide by the directives that come from our Archpastor. So, brothers and sisters, I look forward to the opening of our church. I look forward to seeing all of you again in our worship service. I know that this has been a difficult time for you. It's been difficult for many of us. It's our time to really come together as a community, to really put Christ forward, to make him the center of our life. The greatest commandment he gave to us was to love your God with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your heart, and to love your neighbor as yourself. This is the time where we are not to debate or to test somebody's litmus test of their faith by their attendance in church or their participation in the sacraments. It is our time to love one another and support each other where we happen to be at this time. And it is our responsibility to ensure that we do not become obstacles in preventing others from worshiping God. So with that, that is the intent of this video, is to give you a overall presentation of how we developed these guidelines and the proposal that we're asking the Archbishop to approve, and for your cooperation in the process. So God bless, and have a very glorious feast day.